Creating your first Facebook application. Let's get started. There are actually several different ways to create your first Facebook application ever for the Facebook platform. But there are methods that are very costly methods. Like if you want to create your application for Facebook platform in a general concept, then you would have to buy a premium domain with SSL certificate enabled, and that would cost you a lot of money. But what if you want to create your Facebook application completely free without worrying about the SSL certificate and as well as the premium domain? So in this case, we're gonna need actually a third party stuff, and that is what we are provided with the Heroku. Heroku is actually a cloud platform that allows us to store our application related to Facebook or any other platform in their cloud, and then as well as to retrieve that application, update that, maintain that, and once again store it back into the Heroku cloud without paying any money, without doing any kind of extravagancies in that case. So throughout the course, we're going to be actually using the third-party API, that is Heroku.com, which going to be actually allowing us and providing us with the storing and retrieving files capabilities, and as well as the SSL certificate automatically enabled on with our Facebook application. In order to get started with Heroku and as well as Facebook development apps, you need to actually grab on one stuff tool before getting started with all of the stuff, and that is actually the Heroku toolbelt. Heroku toolbelt is actually a command line interface which would be actually giving us the opportunity and chance to store and retrieve our application, that is our Facebook application, in the Heroku cloud to and back. So that is why Heroku toolbelt is very important, and its interface is just like the normal command prompt in Windows. So if you are a user of any of the operating system like Mac, Ubuntu, then you can download either version of that. But as we are using Windows in this course, in this tutorial, then we're going to use the Windows platform. You can just click on this button, Heroku toolbelt for Windows, and you will be then all over the way. After installing and downloading the Heroku toolbelt software, you will be actually confronted or given with this desktop shortcut with the name of git bash. This git bash is very important tool. Through this git bash, we're going to be actually commanding the git repository and retrieving and storing all over the way. So I'm going to double click on it, and you will see that we are now getting the command line kind of interface. But before getting started, I would really recommend you to check out some of the git commands that would be very helpful in order to get along with this course, because in most of the time inside the git bash, we're going to be actually typing the git command for storing, retrieving, and adding and updating all over the application. But if you are not familiar with git commands, never mind, because we're going to be not using a very complex commands in here. We're going to be using a very simple commands, and I'm going to be explaining each and every command with detail, so that now everything is set on. We are good to go to create our first Facebook application. In order to create your first Facebook application, what you really need to do is to get into this URL, that is developers.facebook.com. Inside developers.facebook.com, you would be confronted with many different scenarios, but you really don't need to worry about that. You just have to click on the app section in here. But remember one thing, that you're going to have to log in into your account, as I am logging in here. So after logging into your Facebook account, click on the app section, and as you can see, I have already created a few of the apps in here. So I'm just going to click on the create new app button, and then I'll be confronted with this option. In here I have to provide my display name. That would be actually the name of the website or of my app, so I can give any name to it, but make sure that this name should be unique and never given to any app before. So I'm gonna just give in my name, Kareem Bedar, and let's see whether it is available or not. And then I'm gonna provide a namespace. A namespace is a unique identifier for our app. With the help of that, our app would be accessible within the Facebook area. So I'm just gonna give a namespace like Kareem Bedar in here too. And then after that, I'm just gonna select this category option, that from which category my option will be like education. And then there is an option that is this a test version of another app? Not at all. This is a new app completely and not a test version of any app. I'm just gonna click on create app button in here, and it will begin to create my app. After that, I'm just gonna give my captcha in here to make sure that I am human. I'm just gonna provide it in here and click on submit. And after that, I'll be confronted with my dashboard in here, as you can see that. And as you can see that now, this is my dashboard. This is the dashboard of my application. This is how many times the Facebook login had appeared, and API states that how much your APIs has been called out. We are not going to worry about that because that is the advanced stage of Facebook app development. We are just concerned that how we can create our first Facebook app and then make it online for the users to check it on. So this is now our app, and remember that this app ID and as well as this app secret is really important in order to get along with your app. And this is the dashboard, which is very important, but the most important section to set up your app is the settings panel in here. In this settings panel, what we really need to provide the app domain, the contact email, and a few of the other options to set up our app. But before that, we're gonna have to actually create our app inside Heroku account. So let's get back to Heroku account in here, and before creating your app inside Heroku and as well as for Facebook, you need to create an account with Heroku. As I am already registered and I have an account with Heroku, and registering and creating an account with Heroku is very simple, just like registering with Facebook. So now we're going to actually create our first Facebook application, and we will store it inside Heroku Cloud, and then we will access this application from Heroku Cloud from within our Facebook canvas. I'm going to tell you that what is Facebook canvas in a later on area. So I'm just going to click on the create new app, and then I'm going to give a name to my app, that is Kareem Bedar. And whether from your region is Europe or United States, either one of it, you can select create app button in here, and then you are all good to go. Click on the finish up button in here, and this is your app settings in here. So this is, if you just click on the settings option, you will be confronted with your app option in here. As you can see that from here on, you can delete your app by clicking on this option, and in here this is the name of your app, which is very important, and plus on this URL is really important. Make a note of this URL when you first create your app. So now we're going to be actually retrieving, updating, and all over the stuff with the help of this URL. So make it clear and just click to copy this one so that it will be in your area. And now that we have our all the basic settings complete within the Heroku app, it's time to actually download this app to our computer, add some changes to it, and then upload it back to Heroku Cloud. And then via Facebook Canvas, we're going to be accessing this Heroku Cloud app, which is stored inside Heroku Cloud. So I'm just gonna finish everything in here. In this section inside the git bash, first of all, I'm gonna log in with my Heroku credentials. So I'm gonna use Heroku login, and after some time it will give me actually the email and password. They type in your email and password, and after typing in that, I'll be authenticated with Heroku. Now I'm gonna give my email, that is kareembedar@yahoo.com, and as well as password, so that will be actually hidden and not will be visible. And as you can see that now I have got a message that authentication is successful, as you can see there out here. Now what we need to do is we need to actually clone the object that is stored inside the Heroku cloud. That is actually our Facebook application we have created inside Heroku account. So in order to clone it, what we really need to do is we're gonna have to get back to our Heroku application in here, just like that. Open our git bash and just try to remember this URL. So I'm gonna use git clone git8 heroku.com, that is kareembedar.git, and I'm just gonna click on enter, and it will begin to clone the repository or my application Kareem Bedar to my local hard drive. You appear to have cloned an empty repository. Well, that is true. We have actually an empty repository right over the way. So now I'm just gonna close everything back. I'm gonna open my PC section, and in here if I just make it open, then I will find out actually my Kareem Bedar app, and that is actually this one. This is a very simple Kareem Bedar folder, nothing else in that. So now I'm gonna open my favorite editor, and then I'm gonna store it with the name of Kareem Bedar or anything I want. So where I want to store it, I want to store it inside my PC users, that is actually the users PC, and in here I want to store it inside Kareem Bedar folder. So I'm going to use index.php, and yes, that's it. So now we have the index.php file. It's time to set on a few of the code in here to set out our initial framework for Facebook application. So I'm going to come back and will add the code to save some time in here. I have now added actually a few of the code in here, and this is a very simple PHP code which actually requires the PHP SDK facebook.php in here, and the PHP SDK facebook.php is actually a Facebook SDK which actually gives you the capability to use the in and out of the Facebook capabilities like login, like authenticating user, and other all things. But we are not going in detail with that, and so we really don't need that part. But you will need this part, this PHP code block section, when you are actually trying to use the internal facilities of Facebook, like authenticating user, using the information of the specified user inside your app, and blah blah blah. But we are actually concentrated on a very simple step and a very simple app, so we're gonna actually stick on to a very normal HTML area. This is a very normal HTML file, and this is the title with Facebook PHP, and this is the heading one with hello world in here, as you can see that. I'm gonna save everything back in the git bash command, and inside here I'm just gonna actually create the Heroku application. So I'm gonna use Heroku create, and after clicking on Heroku create application, it will begin to create our application for Facebook. As you can see that now our Heroku application is completed, that is with the name of Tranquil Garden 8093, and stake is Sadar, and this is our actually the URL of our Heroku app, that is tranquil-garden-8093.herokuapp.com. But you will be confused that our first name of app was Kareem Bedar. Now how it is changed to Tranquil Garden? Well, we will rename this Tranquil Garden back to Kareem Bedar. Really don't need to worry about that. But for now on, it is the name of our app. Now what we really need to do is we're going to have to update the changes to the Heroku Cloud app too, because this is the copy of our app inside our local hard drive. But we need to actually update our online application too. So I'm just going to click on the git bash in here, and then after that what I really need to do is I'm going to use to git add command. The git add command is actually not a git repository and or any of the parent directory. Yes, the reason behind this is that we are not actually inside the Kareem Bedar folder. So for that, what I really need to do is I'm gonna have to get into the folder. Before that, I'm gonna have to find out that how many folders we have. So now I'm gonna use Kareem Bedar, and now we are in Kareem Bedar. I'm gonna use git add command, and now it is successful command in here. Now what I really need to do is I'm gonna have to git commit the changes in here. I'm gonna first close it out, and then I'm gonna use changed and press enter. And now as you can see that the changes we have done in here has also been committed out inside our area, inside our Heroku cloud. Now we need to push this app to our Heroku cloud, so that will be easy. Git push Heroku master and click enter, and then it will say that yes, Heroku does not appear to be a Git repository, could not read from. Please make sure you have correct access rights and the repository exists. Well, the thing is that we have actually created the repository back. If you just get back in here, we have created this tranquil repository outside of Kareem Bedar. We need to create this repository inside of Kareem Bedar, so I'm going to use Heroku create, and now it will begin to create that repository. As you can see that we have now successfully created another repository with the name of sheltered chamber inside Kareem Bedar repository. Now we need to do the following command once again, like git add and then git commit changed. So git commit changed means that we have changed everything in that, and then git push Heroku master, and it will begin to push everything to the Heroku cloud. As you can see that now we have successfully uploaded our changed application, that is sheltered chamber 3396.herokuapp.com, to our Heroku cloud. Now what we really need to do is to get back into our Heroku area, and then I'm just gonna actually get back to my app section. In here, as you can see that we have the name of sheltered chamber, the tranquil garden in here, and the Kareem Bedar repository. Now what we really need to do is we're gonna have to actually delete these of the two files because we really don't need it. So I'm gonna get into tranquil garden, get into settings, get to the end of the app in here, and click on delete app button. Just type in the name of the tranquil garden, just copy this name in here, paste it in here, and delete the app, and your app has been deleted. Similarly, you can perform the same step with this app in here. So our concerned app is this one, sheltered chamber. I'm gonna click on it, and now under settings option, what I need to change the name of this app, that is Kareem Bedar, and then I'm gonna click on rename button. And as you can see that my app name has been changed to Kareem Bedar. I'm gonna get back in here, and as you can see that kareembedar.herokuapp.com has been appeared here. Now we are all set to go to create our first Facebook application and appear it in the Facebook canvas. But before that, let me give you a brief introduction to the Facebook canvas. If I just get back in here and click on the new tab, and I'm just gonna get into the apps.facebook.com. I will be in this Facebook App Center with the different games in here. If I just click off any one of the game in here, Candy Crush Saga, and then click on the play now button. So now I will be confronted with this scenario, and as you can see that this, from this section to this section and to this section, this is actually the Facebook canvas. This whole section, as you can see that this is actually the Facebook canvas. This is not the Facebook canvas, this is not the Facebook canvas, but this area, from this area to this one and this whole rectangle box, this is square box, is called Facebook canvas. And whether it is our game, whether an application of Facebook, all would be appeared inside this Facebook canvas. Just like this Candy Crush Saga, it is appeared inside the Facebook canvas. So it can take out the whole place like this and just take out a little bit of place. Our app will also take the same kind of place and scenario in here. So now I'm just going to get back to my app area, inside the app domain, what I really need to do is to provide my app domain, that where my app exists. So I'm just going to copy this URL and then I'm going to paste it in here and just leave it as it is. I'm going to provide my email address, and then I'm going to click on the add platform button, and it will be demanding you that which platform you want to make a app on. So I'm going to click on app on Facebook, and then I'm going to provide the two of the things, the canvas URL and the secure canvas URL. Just like I have said that this is the actually canvas area, the whole section. So for it you need to have a canvas URL. So the canvas URL is very simple. I'm just going to actually provide the HTTP, that is actually the canvas URL, karimbeda.herokuapp.com/. Make sure to put the ending trail slash at the end, and then I'm just going to make a secure version of it. I'm just going to copy it, paste it, and add an S with that. I don't want any other further ado, and just click on save changes. After saving changes, now it's time to check our application whether it works or not. So I'm just going to copy this canvas page URL, just right click and go to the page. As you can see that now our application has successfully appeared and now visible inside the Facebook canvas, and with this URL, that is apps.facebook.com/karimbeda. Now this is the first ever Facebook application you can create, and you can test it on with different selections and scenarios. This is inside the Facebook canvas. Now if you just get back in here and change everything like that, I'm just going to change like hello world something, save it, get back to git bash, and just you really need to do is to repeat the commands like git add in here, git commit change, and then git push Heroku master. And after doing this, you will be able to make any kind of change to your app. So this is how you can actually create an application for Facebook, and this is one of the easy, simplest and free method to create applications for Facebook. Otherwise you're going to have to pay a lot of money in order to create your first testing application. But if you want to go on the enterprise section or in the business section, then you really need to buy your own domain and as well as SSL certificate, because for a business person it won't worth a money. But if you are doing, or if you are creating Facebook applications for like testing purposes and development purposes, then Heroku Cloud is the very best choice for you. Thank you very much.